Hello, hello, and welcome back to In Case of Emergency. That beach vacation was just too good to be true, wasn't it? Everyone looked cute. We were with Wes. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. At long last, you encounter the steel doors to an elevator. Floating next to them are a sleek panel with a single circular button embedded in it. You press it, and the button lights up. The elevator doors open, ushering you in. The box hums to life as it travels upward, you assume, as the floor numbers tick higher and higher. Something cold trickles against your hand, and you realize you're holding the foil-covered stem of a champagne bottle. Somehow, it's still cold. Barely any condensation has formed on the dark green glass. Eventually, the elevator slides to a smooth stop, like hitting the brake on a powerful car, and the doors open onto an open office floor. Oh, okay. Some people look up from where they're working, briefly make bored eye contact with you, then quickly turn back to their work. You're pretty sure you don't work here. He's over there. Someone takes pity on your lost kid in a mauled look and nods towards the corner office, with its shutters closed. No one spares you or your bottle a second glance as you walk towards it. You can't tell if it's because you belong here or if it's because you don't. As you approach the door, you notice there's no name in the empty placard on the door. You push the door open. Oh. He still looks good.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Wes smiles at you, turning away from the window along the wall. Outside, you see the skyline of a city you've never seen before, let alone from this high of a floor. Despite everything, your heart still skips a beat when you see him.
Is that for me?
Wes crosses over to you and takes the champagne from your hand, his tail snaking around the back of your knee, before he returns it to his desk. Your knees wobble a little at the touch. You're not some lovesick puppy, at least not anymore, but it's hard not to want more. You clear your throat and attempt to clear your head. If you're going to convince Wes to leave, you need to figure out what's happening. So, what's going on? This is your office?
You didn't know? I thought that's what the champagne was for. To celebrate my new promotion.
You're from somewhere you can't see. Wes produces two glass flutes, and sets them on his desk. With a practiced flourish, he peels off the foil covering the. Excuse me. Yeah, flutes. I don't know what that is. I don't know. And removes the wire cage.
Whoa.
Wes recoils, all laughing, as the foam spills over the lip of the bottle and onto his knuckles. He shakes his hand clean as he pours you two glasses.
Cheers!
Your heart sinks for a reason you can't name yet. This isn't actually happening. Wes, this isn't real.
I know, right? I can't believe it either.
Wes clinks glasses with you and sips. Don't drink. You hold the stem of the glass between your fingers without drinking. It doesn't feel right to partake right now. Wes whips his hand on a handkerchief, and you catch the glint of a familiar ring on his finger. The churning feeling in your stomach harden into a pit as all of your worst fears are confirmed. You can't believe that, even in his wild fantasies, Wes can't imagine a world without his obligations. Hey, can we talk for a second? Wes smiles at you, blithely, sips from his flute.
What's up?
You gesture on the office, trying to prepare your point. Wes, this isn't real. You jumped into the void after me, in Peregrine, and we ended up in these fantasy worlds that are trying to harvest us. This office, this view, it's just the world reflecting back at you what you want to see. You have to come with me, and we have to get back to the real world. Wes frowns, pausing in the middle of his sips. Then suddenly he laughs. Against your will, the butterflies in your stomach are sent to flutter. If there's ever been proof that the heart wants what it wants, it's this moment here.
Ha! You're always so funny, Chiron. I wish I could take you to this party with me. You don't think you could write a speech for me, do you?
Oh, like the speech he couldn't do at the beginning of the game? Curious. Curious. What would be the best response? What speech?
We're celebrating my promotion to operations director. My dad's going to be there, and I should probably thank him or whatever.
Sorry, I'm not good at writing speeches for people who are still living. You don't want to indulge him, but the reason comes to you automatically. As your brain catches up to what Wes said, you realize, hang on, why am I not invited to this party? Wes laughs as he quirks an eyebrow.
Is this another joke?
He sounds a little concerned, like he's afraid you're asking a trick question.
We talked about this. I can't be seeing with you at company functions, and that doesn't mean I don't care about you any less.
What does that mean? Wes flushes.
You know, I care about you. I care about us. What else does it mean?
You're saying we can be together in private, but we just can't let anyone else know we're together? I feel like an idiot arguing about this imaginary predicament and dragging into someone else's fantasy and acting out a fight in a relationship that's not even your own. Wes sighs, downing his glass and reaching over to take yours. As he leans in, you get a whiff of his cologne and, underneath it, his own scent. It's still him, beneath it all. You're not sure if that makes everything better or worse.
Is everything okay, Chiron?
Is this really what you want?
What do you mean? I'm happy here. This is what I want.
I don't think this is what you want. Maybe you think this is what you want, but it's just you internalizing what other people have wanted for you. I mean, look around. Is this really what you want out of your life? The corner office, a fat paycheck, stock options, and a company car? Okay, so I'm not really selling this. But don't you want more? Don't you feel like all these things are just going to leave you feeling empty in the end? Wes frowns, and he has the decency to look ashamed as he studies the carpet without answering. Look, I get it. Your parents want you to get married to someone. Maybe they're homophobic, or maybe they're not. And
no, they actually voted liberal 8 years ago.
That doesn't mean. That's not my point. You sigh with exaggeration. How can one person be so selfish while also caring so much about what other people want from him? Wes recoils, clearly having taken offense at your words.
Why are you so mad about this all of a sudden? You were the one who wanted to keep things casual.
You throw your hands up in the air and make a noise of frustration. Wes, don't you get it? This isn't real. The person that told you that wasn't actually me. It was a version of me that this world made for you. You're just being shown whatever it is that you want to see. Wes opens his mouth to respond, then freezes as the weight of your words finally set in. He looks embarrassed, like you've walked in on him watching something inappropriate, except you're actually seeing his porn on his TV, and he was much less mortified then. It occurs to you, faintly, that this is unfair, that you get to see what he wants in all his selfishness, but that he still hasn't seen your own fantasy of who you wanted to be. Your face burns at the memory of all the things you'd apparently wished he'd say to you. There's nothing quite as humiliating as wanting something that the other person doesn't. From Wes's desk, the black office phone rings. No one moves to answer it. After an excruciatingly long time, it goes to the answering machine and a man's voice comes over the speaker. Wesley, just wanted to congratulate you on the promotion. You've still got a long road ahead of you, but I know you're going to make a great leader one day. I don't say it enough, but if it's today, well, shucks, you did good. I'm proud of you, son. And then the line goes dead. Wes crosses his arms and stares at his fancy carpet floor. You don't know what to say. In another world, you probably would have been getting a similar phone call. After a long moment, Wes raises his head to look a hard look at the office. The expensive-looking mahogany. Mahogany. That's like a wood, right? Yeah. The elaborate paperweight, the $1 million view, before settling on the blinking landline. Then he shrugs and looks away.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You sure hope you are. Right now, the only thing you're certain of is that nothing makes this conversation sting any less. You hold out the dick for him to take. Balls first.
Is that?
It's a long story. If you take it, we can portal through the void and go back to where we came from. We're going to go through the heart again. Through Peregrine, but after that, we can actually go home. For real.
And if I stay, would things go back to the way they were?
You walk over to the abandoned glass of champagne and hold one out for him to take. Wes tries to grab it, scrunches his brow, then tries again. His hands press through its stem and through your fingers, reaching for something he can't have. I don't know, but if you stay, the world's just going to keep feeding off of you until there's nothing left. You set the glass down and offer the dick again in its place. Wes's hand reaches out, hovering over it, hesitant. You can already see the color returning to his hand. The more he questions what he's seeing, the harder it is for it to retain its hold on him. But he doesn't take it quite yet.
There's just one thing I don't get. If this really supposed to, if this really supposed to be everything I ever wanted, and if the void is really reading my mind to give it to me, then why, even here, why aren't I happy?
He turns to you, as though you might hold all the answers. When you make eye contact, you realize, for maybe the first time, that Wes is no older than you are. In fact, you know that he's a year below you in school, and more than likely younger than you. For all his expensive furniture, parties, and responsibilities, Wes is playing pretend at being an adult just as much as you are. He's scared. Your shoulders sag. If there's a solution to his problems, to wanting the right thing, to reacting appropriately when you finally get them, you still haven't figured it out.
I can't.
Wes's hand trembles over the dick, clearly recognizing what it would mean to reject fantasy and go back into the unbearable, ordinary suffering of regular life. But there's no escape from the world you left, not when you're always bringing with you the one thing you can never leave behind.
I don't think I can do this.
You can. I know you can. Because I was able to do it. And I only did it because I absolutely had to. And now you have to as well. But I'm with you all the way, okay? We're in this together. Wes nods. Swallowing, he catches your eye. A flash of an apology in his blue orbs, before refocusing on the dick. When he closes his fist around it, you can feel the world flatten, condensing into fewer dimensions. The window overlooking the skyline now looks like a flat wall, the buildings painted on its surface, just an arm's reach from where you stand. Before he reaches for it, Wes looks back at you. You nod to try and encourage him. You watch him visibly steel himself, squaring. His squaring. It's fine. It's fine. I don't. Squaring his shoulders as he touches the wall. It doesn't take much for the wall to fall over like a cheap cardboard prop. Beyond it lies nothing but void, as far as the eye can see. Somewhere out in the distance, you can hear the sounds of waves crashing on the shore. Together, you step forward into the darkness, letting it swallow you whole. You walk for a period of time, somewhere between nothing and forever. At some point, the darkness begins to incline upwards until it becomes a vertical slab. You don't realize this until you've already climbed, one hand being thrown over the other. Your arms burn, muscles exhausted after a long day. There's no way to know how far the surface is until you reach it. Your hand disappearing where it catches on the surface on the ledge. Pulling yourself up with both hands, you reappear in the room with the heart, your dick in your back pocket, and the sword swinging from the side. In one corner, Remus is surrounded, kept in place by your friends that remained. He looked injured, propped up with one arm on the floor, breathing hard.
Chiron!
We saw you disappear! You wheeze for air as you stumble onto the ledge, ignoring the pain in your ankle.
We've taken care of Remus, but...
From behind, Wes helps you to your feet. Guys, we have to get rid of the artifacts. What? Are you crazy? Yeah, just throw it away. Fuck it. You untie the leather strap attached to the scabbard to your waist, and a hand clasped around the sheath. Hold it over the void. This is the only way. You grimace as you think about what you're throwing away. This was supposed to be your way out, the key to a better life. But at some point along the way, it turns into, or perhaps it was all along, a shackle. Opening your paw, you let the sword fall, its blade spinning into the pitch dark of the void. Something in your gut settles, a tightening like a thread connected to your navel has grown taut. Your friends looking at you with concern. You must look like you've lost your mind. Wes is the first to step forward. He swings his shield out of his grip, and so he holds it by the top of its beveled edge.
Chiron, I'm taking your word for this.
He tosses the shield into the pit like a frisbee, letting it sail into the darkness before disappearing. He squeezes your arm. Luke makes a show of sighing and grumbling. Are you serious? Come on, man. I never get to keep anything nice. He grips the amulet around his neck tighter and steps towards the edge of the void. He tries to tear it off the clasp, fails, tries again, and reluctantly slides it over his neck and tosses it into the pit, like he meant to do all along. Like he meant to do that all along. It slides into the darkness and vanishes. Cedric's eyes dart between each of you, and nothing to sacrifice of his own.
What now?
Well, I think the world was supposed to end now, but maybe I need to trigger it, or... You pull the dick from the back pocket and hold it out like the Holy Cross. You try to imagine home and the things you associate it. Loneliness, death, unemployment, a possible future, continued unemployment. But the tug against your navel doesn't change. Nothing changes. The portal doesn't open. Remus chuckles as he pushes himself onto one knee.
Did you think it would be that easy?
The crown around his temples glow faintly in the darkness, casting a blue light on his cheekbones.
Peregrine cannot end. Don't you see? I will not allow it.
Getting to his feet, Remus stretches out his arms. In a flash of light from his circlet, a sword and shield appear in either hand, a green armlet dangling around his chest. Amulet, not armlet. What am I doing? I can't read. It's similar to the relics you once held, but each one a little different this time. Wrapped around the hilt of the sword, you notice, is an inline of pink tourmaline dust that wasn't there before. On the shield surface, you think you spy a new pattern on the stripes, and the amulet this time is a smooth opal gem hanging from a silver ball chain. Remus spins the sword in his hand with an experienced flourish. The circular atop his head glows again, and you realize what's been in front of you this whole time. There was a fourth relic all along.
Is the crown on his head. You have to get rid of it.
Cedric is the first to react. Without hesitation, he races for Remus unarmed. With the side of the shield, Remus swats him aside and throws his body against the boulder as Cedric lands with a nasty-sounding crack, tumbling to the ground. Wes recovers soon afterwards. He lunges across the cave with his arms outstretched, intending to wrestle Remus to the ground. But Remus reacts quickly. He ducks to the ground to meet the assault with his shield again, flicking it upwards, flipping Wes's body up and over him. Wes lands and skids to a halt on all fours. He tries to block the incoming blow, but he's unarmed. Remus catches himself with the broadside of his shield, knocking him across the face twice, throwing him across the cavern with his final attack. From across the cavern, a rock sails through the air and it hits Remus's shield with a loud thunk. Remus' head whips towards the source, and he ducks just in time to avoid the next projectile that sails off into the void. Hey, pick on someone slightly smaller than your size. Luca checks the weight of another stone in his hand, winds it up like a baseball pitcher, and then lets it fly. Remus extends his sword hand out, amulet glowing, and the rock freezes mid-flight, hovering at a distance from him. Oh, come on! Luke throws another rock, but that too is stopped by a barrier of force Remus is maintaining. With a flick of his wrist, Remus sends the rock sailing back the way they came. Oh, fuck! The first rock hits Luke in the sternum, and the second on the cheek, the force slamming him back against the cave wall. Finally, Remus turns his attention to you. You reach for your sword, but realize too late that you no longer have it. All you have to defend yourself is the dick.
Chiron, I had such hope for you.
Remus raises the sword for a downward slash, and you barely have time to deflect it with the dildo grasped like a weapon in your hand. You can't actually parry with it, not really, but you redirect the blow just enough so that blade slashes across your knuckles and not your chest. Remus, we don't have to do this. Remus grimaces and comes in for another swing. This one you catch with the balls of the dick facing outwards, stopping the blade on your hilt. Remus's sword catches in the base of the sack and shaft, a centimeter from the delicate skin between your thumbs and the forefinger. With a grunt of frustration, Remus wrenches the sword free, and nearly tearing the dick from your hand. He clashes with you again and again, and you narrowly avoid his strikes with a combination of lucky parries and footwork, but you know your luck won't last. You've had training, but Remus has been doing this for longer than any of you. Every time you catch an attack with the dick, you can feel just how much stronger he is than you. Remus roars at you as you stop his blade again with your weapon. This time, he doesn't pull away, instead pushing forward as your arms are pinned against your body. With every step, his blade inches deeper into the silicone and closer to your neck. The blade is starting to cut through the dick, and you can feel the icy steel with the icy touch of steel against your paw, blood blooming where it digs into your hands. Then something hits Remus on the head with a heavy thunk, and the wolf swings around with his shield arm, just in time to meet a charging Wes. Wes tackles him at the waist, and the two of them tumble to the cave floor, sending Remus's weapons scattering. Hold him still! Luke hobbles over, bleeding from the fresh cuts on his forehead. He looks uncharacteristically weak without his magic, but he throws his body into the fight anyway, trying to pin down an arm or a leg.
Chiron, help!
You limp towards the dog pile, your body burning with adrenaline and the tattered dick still in your grasp. Remus roars.
No!
Blooming from Remus's prone body. Okay. You watch a light begin to glow brighter and brighter, expanding like a mushroom cloud in the wake of an atomic bomb. The force of the explosion sends all of you flying through the air. You land on your back with the wind knocked out of you. You hear things crack in you that you didn't think to keep track of. Something wet drips down your forehead and across the bridge of your muzzle. Remus pants and snarls, stumbling to his feet.
You will never take Peregrine from me. This place will outlive us all.
Remus struggles to his feet and picks up his fallen sword from the ground. Gripping the bloodied side, he limps over to you, a steel blade dragging along rock. Well, get up. You try to right yourself by putting weight on your arm, but a blast of pain fires off in your ribcage like your organs are trying to skewer themselves on your own splintered ribs. You're barely able to pilot your aching body into a standing position as Remus approaches, his sword glinting in the darkness.
I won't let you destroy this world.
Now wait a minute. What does that mean? Come on, we can work something out. I've got diamond hands. I can get you into the ground floor of the latest crypto. Remus arcs his sword upwards, and narrowly missing your nose as you duck just in time. You realize the greatest non-fungible a token in your life. So we have to, like, say something. This is hardly a fair sight. Give me a sword, and we can battle this out in a one-on-one duel like real men. Remus lunges forward with his sword, showing little regard for the rules of honorable combat. He catches the side of your ribs, and you yelp as you recoil from the blade. You don't know how you thought a man who planned on pushing you into a hole would believe in trial by combat. Well, you know, I was flirting with him a bit. Nothing seems to be getting through to Remus. At best, you're buying yourself time. At worst, you're dragging out your inevitable death. You've never understood why people run in horror movies when you would simply stay and fight the monster. Remus goes in for a swing, his sword barely glancing off your shoulders as you hop to the side. When he pauses, you grip the sword blade between your fingers and attempt to wrest the weapon away. Your hands immediately sting where the blade digs into flesh, and you yelp in pain and are forced to let go. You don't know why you thought that would work. It's clear this isn't working. It's obvious you're out of your element, desperately trying to cling to life rafts around being tossed over the edge. Remus gathers his senses, simply points his sword at your chest, and backs you against the wall. You're both huffing with effort, though you have the disadvantage of struggling to breathe against the tip of a sword. Every swallow, rattling a breath you take, you can feel your chest press against the steel. For the first time in your life, you have nothing to say. There's no clever quip to get you out of the situation. No obscure reference that will deliver you from the pickle you find yourself in. Despite everything, it's just you, and no matter where you go, what you do or say, there's no escape from him. You close your eyes and wait for the end. Stop! The blow never comes. Managing to retch open an eyelid, you watch Cedric getting to his feet in the middle of the cavern, blood trickling down his nose and over his lips. This is getting a little long, so I think I'll end it here. I have no idea how much of the game there's actually left, so maybe next part will be 5 minutes, maybe it'll be 10 minutes. Who knows? That's the exciting part. Anyway, I'll see you guys around.